Hey there, fly tires. Welcome to AvidMax Tying Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Been around for a while. We appreciate you viewing, hanging with us. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to tie Bob Reece's Glo Worm. It's a great little pattern by Bob Reece. He's an Umpqua feather merchant, fly designer out of Wyoming. Teacher and guide and all that stuff. Very busy guy, makes some great flies. Today this one is going to be tied on the 2499 SPBL, which is what he recommends. He likes that upturned spear point for fish holding. And then we're going to put the tungsten beads. I have the MFC Lucent tungsten beads on here. So they're a nice, rich blood red color. Two of them kind of opposite facing so that we can get some materials to sneak underneath them, and we'll do some UV finish on it as well. And then the thread I'm going to be using is the Veevus 10-aught in red today. So you can see I already have the beads on there facing opposite directions. The front one is reverse faced. And then we're going to kind of position it where we're going to want them towards the center of the fly there, leaving ourselves a little bit of room on the front end, 1 to 2 hook eyes in distance. So that's our good measuring point. We'll sneak our thread in and start it right on the back end and work on down with some locking wraps to where we'll tie in that first material, which is traditionally going to be the Sexy Floss from MFC. I'm using LifeFlex today, the red. Very similar material. This is a little bit less transparent than the Sexy Floss, so kind of whatever look you're going for there. I'm going to do about 2 hook shanks in length right off the back, a 1/2 inch or so for the tail. And we're just going to secure that right on the back, just like so, with some wraps. And then I'm actually going to walk right over top of it and secure it down to the point where we're going to start to wrap this back and forth. Gotta watch out for that spear point there. Kind of have to manipulate the LifeFlex out of the way as you go. So then I'm going to actually jump right on top of it here, or right in front of it rather, and just leave that thread hanging. You could do a 1/2 inch on it to keep it from moving. Keep that in place, and I will actually throw it on my bobbin cradle to get out of the way, so you would want to do that 1/2 inch. I'm going to pull it kind of snug as I start to wrap. We're going to wrap this rearward first, covering up all our thread, real nice and snug. Then we're going to come back over top of it, and we don't want it to be overly bulky. The center of this fly does have kind of a bit of girth to it when you're all done. So on that last wrap, sneak right back over top, and we're going to work forward over the wraps we just laid down. And then once you got it covered there, we'll go ahead and secure it off. So we'll just grab it with our thread. Oop. And do some locking wraps, keeping that in place, and then we can clip out that excess material. Great little annelid pattern. A worm, in other words. Don't be afraid of the worms. Catch you some big fish sometimes. So now I'm actually going to whip finish this off. And clip out the excess. And we'll come in with just a little bit of Zap-A-Gap here. I'm using my bodkin to keep it nice and controlled. Onto the thread wraps, so kind of scoot the beads out of the way for now. We'll go on top and on bottom. Not too worried about that tagging because the countersunk tungsten bead is going to come right over top of that. So we'll push this right on back, over the top of it, kind of add some pressure, and then hold it for a second, let that Zap-A-Gap take hold. Once it's kind of drying in place, you can come right in on the front. Same thread, do some locking wraps. And then we're gonna add the same life flex on the front. Do it about the same length. You can go a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, whatever you feel like you need for the aquatic life in your area. If you got big worms, tie them nice and long. We'll just secure that right on top here. I like to have there's a curvature to this life flex. I like to have it kind of going upward. I'm gonna sneak right on back into that countersunk before I kind of go behind the life flex. And we'll snug that thread out of the way. Then we can take this tag end, the rear end, and we'll do a few wraps right over top. Again, pulling it nice and snug. And then right on back. And just making sure that it lays flat for you as you go. Then we'll capture that with that thread that's waiting for us. You'll see that thread will sneak into the counter sunk of that bead, so you want to make sure that you're snugging it real tight and getting down in there, not leaving any hidden loose thread wraps. We can clip out that life flex. I like to try and grab that little tag end with my thread and see if I can pull it underneath with the thread. Then we'll do our whip finish on this. Same thing, just make sure that you're snugging it all the way down as far as you can. And then you can clip that out. So the last step to this fly is our UV fly finish. And so I'm gonna add a little bit more. I like to use the thin on this just to manipulate it easily. So we'll add a bit to the top, get rid of that bubble. Just like so, a healthy amount to the top because you're gonna roll this over the whole fly. So we'll take that with our bodkin, and spread it out just slightly here, and then cover over the whole pattern. I take just a little bit back to add kind of a exo look to it, add some translucence to the outer portion of the fly. Let's see if we can push that little piece there. Grab your UV light and cure it nice and quick. It's a great little fly in high water and dirty water. You fish it in lakes, fish it in rivers, really no wrong location for it. The tungsten beads, the dual tungsten bead on there are a great aspect. They help it get down into the zone nice and fast, especially with the cured UV body over top. It's nice and smooth. Helps get it in the zone nice and quick. And you could overside the beads just a little bit too if you wanted to add a little extra weight. There is the Glo Worm.